Alright, so I was watching your video, and I disagree on some very key points that you were attempting to make. First of all, I'm not certain which generation of black men you're speaking of. Now, the examples you gave, some of the examples you gave were of multimillionaires, um, people who have changed. Now, you put up NWA. Most of those people, some of them are the same, some of them are dead, deceased from diseases. Others are have moved on from a younger mindset. We tend to look at African Americans. Basically, you're looking at your own community and making, or even a wide range of African American communities around the United States or elsewhere, and you're making a generalization about uh, what they are prone to do, which is a very difficult statement to make. It actually takes a lot of guts to say that these things are true based off a few examples, because a few examples is what you're working with. There are, if I believe there's billions, I think 6.9 billion people on the planet, and there are billions of black people on the planet. There's no way that even a few hundred, even a few like 100 people, or a few thousand, 100,000 people is even a drop in the bucket as a sample of what black people do. That is, you can't make that. You can make the statement. You're free to do so, but you're fundamentally incorrect. Uh, okay, now Lil Wayne and all these other guys like Mark Flocka, he's admitted on tape that he's not going to school past a certain lower education level. That's fine, but Lil Wayne has actually pursued education when he could. He was good at something and knew and made money doing so. He's done quite well for himself. Not all tattoos and everything, that might be not a good image, but let me hit you with this: tattoos are actually older than some religions. So who's really following a new trend here? I mean, humans' basic exploration of emotion and expression uh, on the outside of their bodies, outside their mind, basically projecting consciousness outward, was drawings. And to express themselves, what they felt on the inside, on the outside, were tattoos. In the past, they have been more, painful. Now, when you talk about women, a selection of women for African American males or African males anywhere, no one can use another human being for a weapon. People have preferences, which other people, based off ego, and ego plays a big part here. It's not that you're arrogant; it's your own personal ego, your identification of your own consciousness, that you believe that someone is trying to mentally attack you with another human being. This is a common mistake because humans are very in tune with consciousness. In fact, we are the only animals that can reason the outside world from ourselves in an intellectual way. Basically, we know the stars and the planets, the tides and the moon, these things. Uh, you're making a common mistake. Now, me personally, I am married to an Asian woman. In that selection, there is no deeper meaning except for that person was around when I was open to uh, having a long-term serious relationship. Okay, so, and your location, your elevation does play a role in who you meet. If a black woman doesn't happen to be next to or in the same economic genetic position that this African American male, who may be successful or not, is in, why would he choose what he can't see? It goes against logic. Like, if you're a critical thinker, you would have thought of all sides. One side is someone obviously making a generalization based off inadequate evidence. There is evidence to show that some African Americans go towards a side of urban life, or what they call urban life, a more unconventional way of living, which sometimes adversely affects modern society. Yes, but so do white men. And they are the majority in America, which means more crimes will be committed by white men based off math. There are, based off the population in America of African Americans, a larger percentage of the current number there that do go to jail at an early age. Granted, but that does not sum up the sum total of African Americans or Africans in other Western countries. I can just talk about Western countries. No, no. If that were true, you wouldn't have any type of upper black elite, which were mentioned back in 2008 with the election of Barack Obama. The people giving him money from this African American community were black aristocrats, which you never heard in the 70s or 60s, because they were budding, but you had the Renaissance, but then not really. You know, you had people starting businesses, but they were getting cut off when the drugs and the gangs, you know, started to emerge in America. Not emerge originally, but started to get more thuggish, more powerful, and things of that nature. Now, I completely understand why you'd be concerned / upset. Maybe you're not at all, either one of those. But maybe you think you're pointing out an actual factual. It can't be. It can't be an actual factual because I exist. And if I exist as a contradiction to your generalization, then that argument has to be thrown out. There is no basis for it, except for that some people do some things some of the time. And I think that's it. I mean, women, money, lifestyles are chosen, you said yourself, based off environment. And sometimes it's chosen in spite of environment. There is no absolute. There are no absolutes in life. There can't be. Nothing would make sense then. Because if anything can be, and anything could be, the very fact that you have stated an absolute, even if you say some, how much is some? Then you switch over to the next and say black men. Which black men? Whom? What age group? Where are they located? You can't make generalizations. It is silly to do so. And with that, I leave you with to think about what you're saying about if you're African American, about your own race. There are so many factors that have gone into African Americans being the way some of them are in society, and the adverse, you know, or the opposite would be those doing things not seen publicly, because I'm pretty sure there are two sides, or maybe three, who knows, someone down the middle, or someone that practices I guess thug life, whatever, and business or education or academia on the other side. um, I don't really see your point, because to use a woman as a weapon against another woman would be for what gain exactly? I mean, this whole thing would have to have some type of gain. And don't say spiritual gain, because that's nonsense. There's no gain. You're just doing stuff for the sake of doing it. No. And if people are being misled by the media, which everyone is in America in the first place, if you really think the media is telling you the truth, then you're way behind the curve there, because there's no truth. All the news is, or all the media is, one guy tell another guy something, and he's coming to tell you what he just heard. That's all that is. So honestly, no one's getting misled. You're just not getting led, period. You're not getting misled. They're not leading you anywhere. There's no misleading of a certain group. And if you're an African American, you're born African American, and you look at other African Americans as role models, I don't really believe too much in role models. You should be your own person. You can take morals, which are in tune with you consciously, because you know what is right and wrong consciously, unless you have a chemical disorder in your brain which causes you to be a psychopath. Then you have no excuse. The only excuse you can come up with that people like to come up with is this: I can't help it because what I saw. And then we go to the argument of nature versus nurture, which no, okay, no, it is not nature or nurture. It determines who you are. It's a combination of both. Therefore, I can see Lil Wayne with his pants drop low, but maybe my ass gets cold and I don't want to do that. Okay, so and clothes are clothes. Like this is Sean John, I believe. I'm not, I'm not promoting anything. I just have a shirt, okay, and I like the shirt. Why is Sean John shirt? Because they have nice fabric and it feels nice. Certain brands make it certain. That's why I bought the damn shirt. Okay. Now people will say you bought it because Sean John wears it. P Diddy, where the fuck his name is. No, certain clothes be based off quality feel better. Make quality product, people will get it. My point in saying that is saying this: that no one can lead you but you. Only people that are led are children. And when children grow up, they can make a decision to change. Like I was taught to believe in God. I don't, because there's no evidence of it. But I was taught as a child to do so. But when I got older and started looking up facts for myself, I found no real reason to believe. And like I said, in saying that, I say this: you can't lead anybody. There are no absolutes, and no one can tell you what to do except you. And no one's really after you mentally if they don't even know you just by dating someone. The premise is nonsense, and it's racism on a whole new scale. Thank you.